and welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today I'm introducing someone really special. We have a brand new most amazing host.
Yeah, I'm Jade Arena. I'm new to the Most Amazing Top 10 family. I'm really excited to do these videos with you guys. I think it'll be so fun, and this is something I'm really passionate about and we can really get into.
I'm excited to have you. So today our video is about scary animals found in people's houses.
Yeah.
Have you ever found a scary animal?
I don't think so. No. Nothing.
Never been like, oh.
Maybe like one of those basement cockroaches, or like
yeah.
What are those, house centipedes? Not a huge
Oh,
fan.
I hate those, and they have so many legs.
Yeah.
Okay, not a curveball question, but a somewhat related question. What's your favorite animal?
Favorite animal? Oh man, that's super hard. Maybe like a monkey. Monkeys are cool.
Ooh.
Yeah. They throw poop.
Do they?
Sometimes.
That's not ideal. That would scare me if I saw that in a basement. So guys, do leave a comment to welcome Che to the channel. Also let us know what your favorite animal is in the comment section down below. And when we do our next video together, Che and I are going to read out some of the comments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hurrah!
Everyone make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, all the things, hit the little notification bell. Now we're gonna get right into it.
That's right, I've left you number 10, so take it away, Che.
Number 10, giant rats. So I bet we've all encountered some sort of vermin in our lives. I remember when I was in New York with a buddy, we were joking around, he kicked a pile of garbage, and then a stream of what looked like 30 rats ran out from underneath it. But that doesn't compare to what we have on this list. Back in 2016, residents of the Kilcorn Court in Ireland were putting in complaints about giant rats. This issue started when people started irresponsibly dumping organic waste all around the neighborhood, which then attracted rats and those weird hippies that eat out of dumpsters. You know, the ones that can take anything you say and turn it to a story about Burning Man? Residents of the state were continuously trying to get help to try and solve the problem, but no one would believe them. That's not until a photo of a woman holding one of the rats that she had just killed went viral. It was bigger than a chihuahua, and she had to kill it with an axe. These are like the rats you killed in Elder Scrolls when you're like level 2. They do like 6 damage. It kind of makes me prefer the hippies.
From rats to alligators at number 9. Okay, alligators absolutely terrify me. So they absolutely wouldn't be my first choice of house guest or housemate. But in January 2016, it seems that a 200-pound alligator was found living in a suburban Chicago home. Let me put this into perspective for you. Police Chief Dennis Murrin Jr. said that in his 25-year career, he had seen nothing like it. He's a Chicago officer as well, so I bet he's seen things. The 6-foot-long chunky killer had allegedly been living unnoticed in a man's basement in Lansing, Chicago for 26 years. Nobody knew it was down there for over a quarter of a century. That was until an appliance repairman noticed something covered in a container. He decided to go and investigate and got the shock of his life, which is pretty understandable. He immediately contacted the Lansing Police Department and they came to take the gator away. Blimey, what a story, I cannot believe that.
Number 8, snakes. Ben and Amber Sessions thought they were getting a steal by buying this one home for $180,000 in 2009. Little did they know they moved into a home that was right on top of a huge snake hibernaculum. They were non-poisonous gator snakes, but there were hundreds of them. They were in the yard, they were in the crawl space, they were in the walls. The problem was so bad they said the water even tasted the way the snakes smelt. They tried to contain the problem by setting traps. They even caught 43 snakes in one day, but it couldn't slow down the snake problem. Amber Sessions was pregnant at the time, and the day after her daughter was born, they moved out. New babies and snakes don't really mix. ABC News covered the whole thing, so you can go online and watch the House of Slytherin unfold before your eyes.
Oh my god, Che, that is so stressful. I cannot believe the water tasted like snake.
Yeah, I can only imagine it'd be snakes in everything. Like, they'd probably be like in your fridge, like they were probably in the pipes themselves, and there's like dead snakes on top of that.
Do you know what? I am actually a Slytherin.
Yeah.
But this freaks me out, and that's too much snake.
You don't really seem like a Slytherin.
No, I know, I'm really nice,
Yeah.
but you're just very powerful. What are you?
I have no idea.
Okay, we need to find out, so we'll let you know in the future.
I'm not really a Potterhead.
Okay, now I will unleash my Slytherin rage. Get out. Coming in at number 7, we have an owl. Okay, listen, I know what you're thinking, owls aren't scary. Cool, I'm really glad that you can sleep easy, but have you met this owl? This owl broke and entered and would not leave, and it is giving you the eyes. This is actually one of my favorite videos on YouTube ever. Let's start off with the moment that the guy spots the owl and it goes over to him. I mean, this is pure horror from the offset, isn't it? That owl is out of control.
Mr. Owl, you okay?
He then manages to get him on a swifter mop and tries to poke him out of the window. But honestly, the whole thing is just so tense. The way the owl looks at him. Have a watch.
Oh, please don't fly. Oh my. Hey, good boy.
Okay, that is actually so much to handle. I've left it on a cliffhanger for you, so if you want to know how it ends, we've left a link in the sources so you can see for yourself. Honestly though, owls, they're magnificent, evil, scary genii that would kill you if they were just a little bit bigger. Owls.
Now we're swooping in right from owls into hawks. Normally if you go on vacation, you come home relaxed, you've got the weight of the world off your shoulders. Unless you're my parents and you came home from Portugal and you found out that I threw 3 parties and all the food was eaten and 95% of your vodka was now water. But Anne Duke took her kids with her so she didn't have to worry about that. And when she came home, she found that one of her sculptures was broken. She was a little shocked, but at first she thought it was their cat. We all know that cats are rude and they will destroy things that you love for their own pleasure. Then she thought their house might have been broken into. That's when she heard her daughter scream from the other room. She rushed in and saw a red-tailed hawk. They weren't sure how the hawk got into their home, but they didn't really care at this point. They just wanted the thing out of the house. So they contacted animal control, and then the bird got removed from their home. Now we go to 5. Spiders. Normally when you get a package, you'd be super excited. You've been waiting weeks to get it. It's something you bought online that you were too embarrassed to buy in person. Well, this time it was a little different. A man in jolly old Bristol, England got a return sender package that was intended for the previous owner of the property, and it had a little bit of a surprise in it. There was a spider in it, but not just any spider. It was a Brazilian pink salmon bird-eater tarantula. That's the 3rd largest spider in the world. They're known to be semi-aggressive and you should be scared of them. They have fangs that are 2.5 centimeters and they have hairs on their abdomen that they use to kick into your face that will cause like irritation or blinding. I always love that defense. It's like pocket sand of the animal kingdom. The post office was pretty sure the spider didn't get sent to him, but it found its way into the package somewhere in the 3-week return process. And you think this story would end with him just flushing it down the toilet, but it actually kind of has a sweet ending. He brought the spider to a vet who examined it and found that it was very dehydrated. She nursed it back to health, brought it to her rescue center, and named it Sid. It's like Finding Nemo, if some of the characters pooped silk.
I really don't like spiders, so that freaks me out. But coming into number 4, I'm not sure if this would scare me more or less, we have a lion. I actually think spiders do scare me more, to be honest with you. Actress Trippi Hedren, who famously starred in Alfred Hitchcock's scary movie The Birds, owned a lion. Now she shared this lion in her home alongside her teenage daughter Melanie Griffiths, who of course grew up to be an actress herself. Neil the 400-pound lion was taken in by the Hedren Griffith family in the 1970s and had the run of their family home in LA. Like literally, the lion could go wherever it wanted to go. Sensational pictures show Neil playing with the family and biting Melanie's leg, but it was just play biting with a lion. It seems that the lion was allowed to sleep in Tippi and Melanie's beds too, which is absolutely insane. Tippi now regrets the decision to live with a lion, saying, "I cringe when I see those pictures now. I have to tell you, we were stupid beyond belief. We should never have taken those risks. These animals are so fast. We're dealing with animals who are psychopaths. They have no conscience or remorse genes, and they will kill you for their dinner." Right? I mean, lions are pretty high up in the food chain, so I wouldn't want to invite one into bed with me. This was the 1970s, but these days it's not legal or advisable to welcome a lion into your home. Shockingly though, one family in Spain has done just that. Couple Mada and Eloy rescued a 550-pound lion, creatively named Simba, from the circus. Apparently it cost them around $600 to feed him each month. I suppose that is a worthwhile investment if you have a lion. You don't want them getting hungry because, you know.
Number 3, bats. Every time I walk past an abandoned home, I just want the whole thing to be gone. I just picture that clown from It living there, and he knows that I'm afraid of commitment. That movie changes a lot as you get older. As a kid, you're like, I'm afraid of spiders. As an adult, you're like, oh, my electrical bill. But anyways, there was an abandoned hospital in England that was set to be torn down, but they couldn't because it was infested with bats. Not just any bats, but bats that were a protected species. So in order to tear it down, the company had to remove all the bats safely. This was a major infestation too. There's an estimation of over 200 bats in here. It was like a bat apartment, like a whole generations of bats living in there. You could take a whole school bus of children in there and you would make like 8 Batmans. Whose job it is to do that, I have no idea. You have to find people who are okay with stepping in bat poop, touching bats, and taking care of bats.
So like bats are an actual problem. Have you heard of this saying batshit crazy?
Not really, no.
Okay, well it's a big thing that we say in the UK, and basically it's because bat poop does have chemicals in it that will legit send you mad.
Really?
Yeah, so it's not just scary bats, it's like scary bats in my brain.
It's like that cat thing. Have you heard the thing that cats have?
No.
So like cats have like this parasite that will like go onto you and it'll make you like have an attachment to the cat. So you can't so you don't want to get rid of your cats.
The little creeps!
Yeah.
Wow, we should put cats on this list. They're in a lot of homes.
Yeah.
Alright, coming into number 2, we have sharks.
And that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
Yep, it turns out it isn't just Dr. Evil who is living with sharks. To quote Landon and that kid who is high off the good dentist drugs, is this real life right now? It actually is. In September 2017, officers from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation searched a home in LaGrangeville. What did they find? Sharks. The authorities found a homemade pool in the basement filled with 7 live sand sharks, and unfortunately 2 dead leopard sharks and a dead hammerhead shark. This is actually really sad. Although these sharks weren't massive, as in Jaws massive, they're still dangerous animals, and living in a homemade pool in the basement? What are people thinking? The sharks were caught and taken to the Long Island Aquarium where they could be looked after properly. How the residents obtained a shark is pretty unknown. Some kind of illicit dealings, I guess, but still, the only way I will ever accept a shark in the home is like this. This is the Headington shark in England, and in my opinion it is a hilarious rooftop sculpture. It's actually got a poignant message attached to it too. The shark was erected on the 41st anniversary of the dropping of the atomic bomb in Nagasaki. It's still there today over 30 years later, and it is quite the tourist attraction. No real sharks please, just giant sculptures. Thanks. Alright, coming in at number 1, the big guns, Che. We've got creatures.
What does that mean?
Well, I'm gonna tell ya. I don't know if we can actually call these animals. They're definitely more like creatures, like really terrifying creatures. Let me tell you more.
Yeah.
So in London in 1960, an old abandoned mansion was being cleared for demolition. You know what it's like, they need a place to build, condos and all of that.
Yeah.
So basically their house used to belong to Thomas Theodore Merlin, and it was being cleared when contractors came across thousands of wooden boxes. Weird. They opened it up, and what to their wondering eyes did appear but the bodies of strange creatures. It was an absolute cryptozoologist's dream. Now, let me tell you more about it. Some were more recognizable. They had spiders and bats, but then there were weird remains. Were there bodies of fairies? Were they vampires? Were they mer people? There were even remains of things that looked like dragons. And the body of an extraterrestrial. I know, this is insane. Is this real? If it isn't, then someone has put a lot of effort into making them look like ye olde fakes. If this is legit, well, vampires and dragons, it's basically the motherload of scary, right?
Yeah.
Do you think this is real?
I hope so. I need some more excitement in my life.
Well, you've just joined the channel, so what more excitement can you get? So guys, that was the top 10 scary animals found in people's houses. How'd you feel about this? Your first video with me?
I thought it was great. Yeah, I think we gave you guys some good stuff.
Absolutely. So once again guys, do let us know what your favourite animal is, and leave a message for Che, who's going to be sticking around for a long while.
Absolutely.
So thank you guys once again for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up, share it with a friend, nice messages for Che, and we'll see you soon. Bye!